Hi, it's John here from Capricorn Mohair Socks. What I'm going to do in this short video is tell you a little bit about our story, about how we became influenced on the colours that we produce at Capricorn Mohair Socks from the Japanese fashion market. When I took over Capricorn Mohair Socks many years ago, we were a very green, very rustic company. What do you mean by that? Our main colours were brown, green, navy, cream, red and black. Very simple colours. Our packaging was green. I used to always say we were very National Trusty, we were very rural, we were very organic in our colours, and we produced a lot of Wellington socks and walking boot socks, etc. Maybe that's because, as you may or might know, I used to be a former shepherd, so that's what I knew as I started Capricorn Mohair Socks and we started to grow the business. A number of years into this, we started supplying the Japanese fashion markets. Now the Japanese fashion markets very much pushed us on our colours, pushed us on our branding, and we evolved into a very different business. What the Japanese do to us, they give us a number of colours every year. So example is what we call a colour swath from Japan. They send us some colours and we have to produce brand new colours every year for them. So what they do is they send us a number of shades of blue in this example here. We have to then get some sample dyes done. We send those back to Japan and we're just doing those in the lab at this stage, and then they can choose which colour they prefer. Once they tell us their core colours for that year, and we get something like this, we're getting back from Japan with existing colours, then new colours down at the bottom, we then have to show we can commercially produce that those socks in that colour. So we would have to dye 240 pairs of socks just as samples to go out to Japan, and then they could see that we could do those socks in a large quantity. And then they very much pushed us for these more, I'm going to say, prettier or pastel-y colours. So this is a classic example of something we did for Japan, quite a light purple in colour. You'll also notice in Japan we did different packaging. So instead of our traditional packaging, at the time it was green, they pushed us a white package that was a lot lighter. And therefore this really made us think about the way we brand our socks. Now initially when we started with Japan, I used to fight against this change because actually I believe that we were being pushed down a road that was it the right way to go? At the time I didn't believe it. And I was working with very different people than myself. As a country boy from the northeast of England, going down to London to work with these people coming over from Japan, I found it very hard to grasp and understand what they were trying to do. But after a number of years, I really understood what they were doing. Because they're in the fashion markets, they were working a number of years ahead. So in this time of year, we're producing socks for autumn, winter, the following year. And when they came with these colours, they're actually telling me what was going to happen in the fashion market. So things like, the mustard, when that first came out, now we see it everywhere, but when the mustard was first done, we did that for Japan, and I looked at that and I thought, when are we ever going to sell that in the UK marketplace? Then over the next 3 or 4 years, it became very fashionable. Another colour, another similar colour than that is the burnt orange. Again, burnt orange was a colour we first did for Japan, and then over the coming few years, it really embraced that British marketplace as those colours came on stream. So we decided as a business to really embrace what they were doing. We changed our packaging, we changed our branding for our UK business, and we went to this white, clean branding, which is what we learned from Japan. And we very much pushed with these new pastel colours. At the time, and we still go to a trade show, or a number of trade shows every year, but I'll go to a big trade show up in Scotland. And I didn't go for 1 year as we were rebranding and going this slightly different direction. I remember going back the following year and I was absolutely dumbstruck by how we attracted a completely new audience with our new branding, the new colours, after embracing what we had learned from Japan. So it's quite interesting now to see those colours pushing out into the UK marketplace, not just producing not those socks that we produce ourselves, but other people. Because what we find is, because there's very few sock knitters in the country, other people producing socks, whether they're mohair or from wool, see our colours in the factories, and they're utilising and learning also from the knowledge of what we've been getting from Japan. But the interesting thing, we're always moving on. You know, we're working a year, 2 years ahead of ourselves, working alongside the Japanese to bring these new colours to the market. So it's been very interesting how initially I didn't want to embrace it. I learned to embrace it, and we moved on, and our business has really been pushed on to a very different place than what it was initially. So often a lot of our customers say, why do you have these seasonal colours? What's this? Oh, that's our Japanese socks that we're pushing through. Often there can be samples, there can be over knits that we do for our big Japanese orders. Or alternatively, there could be a number of colours. I keep going back to mustard as a classic example. We really liked it, and we've continued with that ever since. So we're developing new colours all the time, very led by the Japanese and the fashion markets. We push those into the UK market. I very much hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of an insight about how we've developed over the years with this influence that we get from Japan, and I very much hope you enjoyed some of the colours we've produced here at Capricorn Mohair Socks. And as always, I really appreciate your support you're giving ourselves, because you are the guys who keep us in the business and keep buying the mohair socks, and I can't thank you enough for that.